trip on the world's most expensive rides. A supersized party wagon takes you on a wild journey. A jet-propelled powerboat almost takes off. And an all-American supercar takes on the world.
From 0 to 250 miles an hour, it really sets you back in your seat.
Times longer than a stretch limo, as tall as two Cadillac Escalades stacked on top of each other. It looks like a truck and sounds like a locomotive. Think you've seen extreme limousines? Think again. Weighing in at a staggering 25 tons, 70 feet long, 13 feet 8 inches high, and 8 feet wide, this limousine is the most enormous, extravagant, and expensive in the world. Meet the Midnight Rider. This monster is a $2.5 million party on wheels.
The Midnight Rider is the world's largest limousine. It's the most expensive and most luxurious ride that you will ever find. It's the only tractor-trailer limousine in the world.
This is the only limo in the world that can carry 40 passengers and requires a staff of 5, among them Mike Machado and his wife Pamela. They dreamt up, designed, and spent 7 years building this black beauty out of nothing but the finest components. Every detail was modeled after a 19th century Pullman presidential railroad carriage, most of it made just like the original.
Pullman Railroad Car Company was considered the most luxurious railroad car ever built. The Midnight Rider is the closest duplication of those cars in the 21st century. Well, the Midnight Rider was built by hand. It doesn't have any plastic in it. It doesn't have any composites in it. Everything you see on the Midnight Rider is the real McCoy.
The Midnight Rider is an event in itself. We find that when people are traveling to their destinations, once they get there, they don't care to get off because they're having so much fun.
The Midnight Rider is a one-of-a-kind. It's a mystery vehicle to a lot of people. It captures the imagination of entrepreneurs all over the world as to how it was built.
Construction took 7 years of painstaking work and demanded a huge investment of cold, hard cash.
In 2005, upon completion, it cost $2.5 million. Today, you could probably double that price.
This is a 379 low-profile extended hood model, Texas style, with 435 horsepower and 15-speed transmission. The main cabin has 6 axles, 22 wheels, and a complete air ride suspension. Posing as a rugged rig on the outside, inside lies a softie. This Hulk can provide cushy comfort good for any kind of celebration.
Midnight Rider is unique in that it has a full bar to serve its guests with 3 air ride seats at the bar.
The guests sip cocktails in one of 3 plush lounges.
Here we are in the Fifth Wheel Lounge, which is an extension of Party Central, the Jake Break Bar. All the partying goes on in this area. As you can see, it's in keeping with the railroad theme of the luxury days of travel of the 1800s.
And just like on the rails, an engineer mans a command center at the top of this massive machine.
The engineer is charged with the switchboard, the television system, stereo system, security system, and navigation.
This ultimate ride is reserved for those who can afford to go wild in style. Catering to corporate meetings or tailgate parties, this limo will cost you $1,000 an hour. A price that makes sense considering it takes the crew 36 man-hours just to wash and wax the 2,500 square foot exterior. An oil change for this monster runs about $800. Instead of a $50 fill-up, one trip to the pump can set you back $1,000. And to change all 22 tires, that's a cool 10 grand. Clients pay big cash to carouse in this one-of-a-kind coach. 40 people at a time can drink and dance the night away in this black behemoth built to party.
We always have 2 bartenders and a hostess on board to serve. Here in the Jake Break Bar, it's always happy hour on the Midnight Rider.
And with a 300-gallon fuel capacity, guests can let loose from San Diego to Chicago without refueling. And no matter how wild the party gets, clients know that a professional is at the wheel.
Operating the Midnight Rider is an immense responsibility. Not only do you have to deal with the $2.5 million vehicle that you're putting on the highway, but you're also responsible for the 40 passengers that are with you and their safety.
This is a one-of-a-kind ride, but with enough cash, you too could have a custom 22-wheel limo to call your own. The people at the Midnight Rider are open to offers from anyone who simply must have their own towering touring truck.
Depending on your desires and imagination, the sky's the limit.
It's very unique. It's just an incredible experience.
Anything else is just another ride.
For those who want to celebrate the journey in a big way, on board one of the world's most expensive rides. What happens when you drop 2 jet engines into one crazy catamaran? Answer: 4,000 horsepower, equal to 8 Porsche 911s, a top speed of 200 miles per hour, and an infinite amount of bare-knuckle excitement.
When you push the throttles forward, it's like nothing else you ever felt in your life. It's just like a rocket strapped to the back of you.
Speed, it's tunnel vision. You know, you see what's coming out in front of you, and that's about it, because you're doing well over a football field a second at that speed. It's full adrenaline.
If you like speed and you feel safe doing it, the adrenaline just flows, and it's just it's a high.
The Mystic C5000 powerboat ranks among the most exotic, expensive, and exclusive racing boats on the high seas. Priced at around $2.5 million depending on the options, this waterborne bad boy races for Aquamania G3, one of the world's most advanced powerboat teams.
That team and that whole class is very innovative. There's no playbook for them to go to and say, this is how we run these boats. It's not like a auto racing where, you know, they've had 50, 60 years of this. So these guys really are kind of a research and design when they go out there and race.
There's a reason this boat sounds like it's about to take off. The Mystic gets its power from the same kind of technology that drives top-of-the-line military helicopters.
This particular boat has 2 jet engines that you would normally find on a Cobra attack helicopter.
The twin turbine engines generate up to 20,000 RPMs, 5 times more than your average gas engine used in traditional powerboats. The Mystic produces a total of 4,000 horsepower, and instead of turning old-fashioned pistons, it pushes out a jet of superheated air that translates into pure, intoxicating speed.
Forever and ever and ever, the piston gas combustion engines are really what all the boats race. It's a new class for offshore. We're kind of pioneering in that direction, and it's pushing the sport to faster and faster speed.
As well as all that horsepower, the Mystic is outfitted with a super light, super strong epoxy hull. Even fully loaded with engine and safety gear, this 50-foot giant weighs in at a skinny 12,000 pounds, less than a third of the weight of a pleasure boat of the same length, thanks to its streamlined construction. But Mystic's unique hull design means that the engines are positioned a foot further forward than on most boats to prevent the front from raising up too high.
It's a balancing act of you want to make sure that it's strong enough to withstand the conditions, but also light enough where you're not robbing horsepower and speed.
There's currently just 3 jet boats like this, all racing on the professional powerboat circuit. It's called, naturally enough, the Extreme Class. And if it looks like the Mystic is flying over the water, that's because it's designed to do just that.
It's amazing. Everything becomes very, very light, and you start to fly literally above the water. And that's, it's intense.
As well as speed, the jets deliver the reliability that's demanded of military machinery. In the powerboat world, that means the Mystic is less likely to break down, adding to its appeal.
It's no different than an airplane. When you're up in an airplane, I think very few of us worry that the engines are going to quit, and it's the same thing when it comes to a performance boat. And you don't have to worry about it breaking down.
It's much more exciting for the fans, and much more thrilling for the people who pay a lot of money for these boats and finish races and achieve extremely high speeds with reliability.
One thing the Aquamania team values more than speed and stability is safety. At top speed, there's no margin for error. And preparation for every jet-powered journey in the Mystic begins with an exhaustive safety check, from helmets and neck guards to safety straps and door locks.
You strapped and ready or not?
Yeah. We strap ourselves into a 5-point harness. We wear an F-16 style helmet. We wear onboard oxygen in the boat. We wear a Hans device now on our neck for neck safety. So you're very safe. You feel very secure in the boat.
The entire cabin is encased in Kevlar, the same light but strong material used to make bulletproof vests.
Aside from being speed junkies and racing junkies, we really, it's professional. The safety gear is the best that there is.
And you can see why it's necessary. At these speeds, one wrong move can spell disaster, as it almost did for the Aquamania team at the Key West World Championship. The boat took a turn too fast and took off into orbit.
We did a 1/4 in the sky, so you're in the air. At that point, you become a plane instead of a boat, and then when you land, you're a boat again.
The crew survived with barely a scratch, thanks to their safety kit and one very tough boat. But this muscular craft also has great communication skills, with no fewer than 5 onboard cameras and internet access. The team plans to stream live video to fans around the world, so anyone can witness the Mystic's power from the inside. But no matter how many cameras the Mystic C5000 has, there's nothing like strapping yourself in and going for a spin.
We try to explain it, but the best thing for it is to put somebody in the boat. It's a euphoria. All your senses are just being bombarded with adrenaline and the endorphins that get released, and it's just hard to describe. It's just higher than high.
There are fast cars, and then there are supersonic road machines that defy all notions of speed. The Shelby Ultimate Aero. The the Aero is street legal, but at full throttle, this $654,000 super ride breaks every rule in the book.
Short to flying a fighter jet, this is as close to the flying as you're going to get to be on the ground.
The acceleration of the Ultimate Aero is an unparalleled experience. From 0 to 250 miles an hour, it really sets you back in your seat.
Until the Aero arrived on the scene, the title of world's fastest supercar belonged solely to the legendary European car makers. But then, along came an all-American machine with the potential to take the automotive world by storm and blow the pants off the competition.
For an American company to come along and say, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to go faster than anybody else. We're going to chase after those same goals, but we're going to do it with American hardware, American ingenuity. We're going to do it ourselves right here, and we're going to set a production car record, you know, on the road. You have to cheer for that. You have to say, good on you guys, go get them.
The man behind this extraordinary car is Jared Shelby, who made millions in the medical device industry, then turned to his first love, fast cars.
Jared decided to take on his dream project of producing his ultimate version of a performance car to kick off the start of his car company, SSC.
Shelby set out to make a machine fast enough to break the world speed record for a production car. The Aero prototype debuted in 2004, and Shelby soon started manufacturing a limited release of just 50 of these unique automobiles.
This was a no-compromise supercar. So Jared saw it through from beginning to end, and everything was built to spec. Right, with Jared, he's the one who designed about 90 or 95% of this car on his own. He was the one who was hands-on the whole way.
Shelby began with a carbon fiber body, a featherweight material usually used to make fighter jets.
Minus the doors, the hood, and the trunk, the body only weighs about 131 pounds, and it's all hand-laid carbon fiber.
He also came up with a sleek design that keeps the Aero low to the ground.
The complicated part is to make sure that the aerodynamics make it slippery enough to go through the air at 250 miles an hour plus, but also to keep the car planted.
The car was tested at one of the world's largest wind tunnels, a former NASA facility. The aim was to prove that the body shape generated enough downforce so it didn't take off, but with minimal speed-killing air resistance. And the Aero passed, achieving a theoretical top speed of 273 miles per hour. With all the important aerodynamics perfected, Shelby loaded the Aero with a hand-built V8 twin-turbo engine and finished the package with race car minimalism.
Without having power steering, power brakes, or traction control, it makes it the most organic supercar out there. And the visceral experience you get from the sound of the turbo to the acceleration and the handling, it all adds to that very exciting, very fun, very unique experience.
The result is an insanely powerful road rocket with 50% more horsepower than the average NASCAR. 0 to 60 in 2.78 seconds flat without leaving first gear.
The Ultimate Aero takes about 3 months to complete from start to finish, and all parts are made in America.
But can this turbocharged outsider really challenge for the world record? In 2007, on a lonely stretch of highway, the Aero prepares to prove it's the fastest production car in the world. The Aero hit 60 miles per hour in just 2.9 seconds and covered the first quarter mile in less than 10. Over the course of the 1.5-mile track, the car achieved the seemingly impossible, clocking an average speed of 256.18 miles per hour, a new world record, shattering the old one by 11.83 miles per hour. For all its high-octane achievements, the Aero packs some down-to-earth features. This race-ready supercar still finds room for an onboard computer, a 10-speaker DVD system, and GPS navigation. And it's even got pretty good mileage at normal speeds. But once you slam the pedal to the metal and unleash the race car within, it's a whole different story.
The Ultimate Aero has a range of about 720 miles, with about 30 miles per gallon on the highway. However, if you're at full throttle, the 32-gallon tank will last only 7.5 minutes.
That's a whole lot of trips to the pump. But with a price tag of $650,000, this high-octane racehorse is only within reach of the fortunate few. On the road and in the record books, the homegrown American-built Aero is a true world beater and one of the most expensive rides on the planet. From the mysteries of mind-blowing extravagance to the science of record-breaking speed. Wild cars, crazy boats, killer bikes, and massive tarmac-shattering trucks. The priciest, prettiest, and most insanely advanced vehicles on the planet. That's just the way we roll on the world's most expensive rides.